Hey kids, welcome to Lesson 9, Looping and Random Numbers, Part 2. This is going to be a multi-lesson part, and we're going to build off of each of these lessons until we get to a final project. Let's take a look at what we're going to do. Top-down design. Look at this complex version of Under the Sea scene you drew in previous lessons. You now have all the skills you need to recreate this digital scene. Isn't that exciting? We will use top-down design to help manage the complexity of drawing this image. The starter code you will be provided already has broken the problem into multiple levels. That's very nice of them. Overview of program structure. You're about to see that we've provided you with a good amount of starting code. Here's a brief tour. High-level function calls. These read almost like a story of how you will draw the image. There is one function for every major component of the scene. So these are things like hide, pen up. There's a function in there, draw background, draw seagrass or seaweed, all that stuff. We've worked with those before. High-level function definitions. These currently draw a single copy of each component. You will add code to these functions to draw many copies of each component in a variety of sizes and colors. So this right here is just a function right here. Pretty standard. We've worked with this quite a bit. We're going to use some low-level functions. These draw single elements of a scene. Most have been written for you already, but we've left a few for you to complete as well. That's very nice of them and fun. This right here has a draw fish. Size, red, green, blue. So this looks like it has a bunch of parameters. This is setting it for my call. Again, stuff we've done quite a bit. Do this. Review the structure of the code in this level. Run the code to familiar yourself with what is currently drawn. And when you're ready, move on. So it doesn't look like we actually have to do anything in this lesson, but we really just have to look at the code, learn it, familiarize with ourselves for the next steps, which is always very fun. Let's take a look down here and see. So we have our beginning part here. We have a preparing the turtle. This is a hide up, pen up. So let's just make sure whatever we do is always starting with the pen up. These 6 functions draw everything in order matters. Absolutely. So we have a draw background. We have the seagrass. We have the sea stars, the fish, the bubbles, and the sea beams. To do, repeatedly draw seagrass. So this right here looks like it is making seagrass in a random spot between 0 and 320, this direction right here. And it is going to be on 450, which is down here. So my seagrass is just going to be randomly picked at the bottom of the screen. Looks like it just draws it once here. We don't see any loops or anything else, just a function, and we saw the call up here to that. The rest of the code looks pretty similar. We have a fish moving to a random number. We're drawing the fish with some random colors, it looks like. The bubbles, same thing. We're moving the bubbles randomly on the X and Y coordinate system, and the size looks like it's between 1 and 5. Background is going to be drawn with a dot that is dark blue. And then this looks like our actual functions here. So this is how my starfish gets drawn. These are my parameters. Here's where everything's getting called to. So size is my move forward parameter here. The seagrass, the radius is my parameter. That's there in my function. Looks like it's also picking a random color of green, a random shade of green in there. It's pretty nice. It'll give a nice effect. Oh, we do have a little loop down here. So this is repeatedly switching between left and right. So instead of, if you remember back to lesson 8, instead of it, you drawing back and forth, arc left, arc right, it just did a loop inside of it 3. That's pretty neat. Draw the fish. The fish again is broken down into 3 spots. The pen color and width right there. the fish body, the fish tail, and then we again end up with a pen up. With most of these we do. The bubbles, this is the bubbles, the RGB set to 0.2, which is very, very light. We do have another parameter here, which is size, the dot size, which is the width. So we'll add a custom width down there. And we finish up with sunbeams, and the sunbeams are the size. We have a parameter here, and we have another random number in our code, pen width. So it looks like our beams are going to be varying width. Again, very nice. Let's hit run and see the code they provided, how it runs right now. I love my seagrass, starfish, fish. There's my little sunbeam, and right there's my little dot. Looks like I have something on my monitor that could drive a person crazy. Reset it, it should change differently. Oh, it does. Look at that, it moves over there. So every time I click it, things are changing all around the screen. That's pretty neat. Well, I think I understand this code pretty well now. I think I'm pretty confident to move on. So all I really had to do here was just familiarize myself with it, and we're going to start designing it, because as you can see, I have one of everything, and we need to add a whole bunch to get to the scene. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next lesson, kids.